We're going to have to come up with answers that set politics aside.
Oh,
they don't hear us.
They don't hear us.
They don't hear us.
Telling them, but they ain't listening.
I'm from Port-au-Prince, Haiti, and they don't hear us.
We're going to bring you some stuff that's going to make you feel better. They don't hear us.
They don't hear us!
Hey, and shout out to the folks who are covering this coalition, because they don't hear us.
Today's topic is Gone But Not Forgotten. Today's guest is Ms. Michelle Rucker and Mr. Darryl Howard. How are you all doing?
We're doing fine.
Okay, we have these two guests today, and they're going to share their experience and with you all. And so, Ms. Michelle and Darryl, can you all help our audience let us know what you're a part of, the Gone and Not Forgotten?
On October the 10th, 2015, I lost my son, William Frazier, to gun violence. It has been hard, but through my strength with God, it has gave me enough strength to be able to still live his name. He was gunned down on Ramblin' Brook Drive. Don't really know where the area is. It happened Saturday, October the 10th, as I said. I found out October the 11th. I was at church. The girlfriend came and got me at church, not telling me what had happened. So I told her that when I get through paying my tithes at church, I will leave and come to Vanderbilt. So as I left church and headed to Vanderbilt, that's when I found out it was my son had been killed. So during that time, William was a basketball star. He never brought any kind of drama to the house or toward the family. It has been hard for me and my 3 daughters. I do have 3 grown daughters besides William. Through our strength, us sticking together, we still live William's name. And when days come, birthdays come, holidays come, we still celebrate as if William was there with us.
Mr. Darryl, you want to tell us a little bit of your story?
Yes, my son's name was Juwan Booker. Juwan passed away January 21st, 2015. I got a phone call from his mother, and I really couldn't understand nothing she was saying because it was just unintelligible, but she was just screaming. And I heard the screams for maybe about a good 2-3 minutes before somebody else came on the phone, and I'm trying to see what's going on. And they just kept saying, Juwan, Juwan. And I'm saying, well, what's going on with Juwan? Is there a problem? You know, so when I finally got somebody else to come, doctor or something, I don't know who it was, but they just said that my son had just passed, you know. And, you know, as like I said, you know, it was a difficult thing because me and my son was very close, and my son had just left my house maybe 6-7 hours before he passed, you know, because every weekend, that was our thing. We got together, he'd stay at the house, we'd spend time together, you know. And, you know, he said he was going out with some friends. He went out with some friends, and like he was over by Vanderbilt at one of the little hooker bars or like whatever they call it, you know, and a guy tried to rob him. You know, it was him and his friends, and, you know, gunned down over nothing, you know. My son was just a regular kid, you know, now, he had some issues, but, you know, it's just like myself had the same type issues, you know. But for the last 4 years, you know, he had been out, you know, doing what I do. You know, he was speaking in the community, talking to young people, you know, doing the juvenile program. You know, that's pretty much what I do. I speak in the community about different issues of what's going on, and my son was doing that like every week with me. So, you know, it wasn't expected. You know, he was a 31-year-old kid. He had his whole life ahead of him, 4 kids. You know, family, mother, brother, you know, sister. You know, like when like things like that happen, you know, it really ain't nothing you can say because it's just a difficult thing to deal with it, and you really don't have nobody who can relate to them situations. So all you really do is lean on God and pray about it and hope, that you don't respond negatively, because believe me, you get them thoughts.
Oh yeah, you do.
Yeah. I'm being honest. It's just things come in your head that you really don't want to deal with. And then people have good intentions and they want to say it gonna be all right, but you really can't speak about it. It's not your child. Yeah. When you lose your child, you understand what we're talking about. But until then, yeah.
So what, I know this is very new to both of you all, and with so much crime that has went on in the city over the recent, we'll just say last couple of months, what kind of encouragement, if any, could you give to someone who is newly just losing their loved one? Because in Nashville, we've been losing people left and right.
Yeah.
My encouragement is to any parents that's out there have lost a child. No one knows the feeling to lose a child until you lost one. I never thought in a million years I'd bury my child before my child buried me. To lose a child is a hard thing. You have your ups, you have your downs, you have your good days, and you have your bad days. But a lot of times, it's better to know where your child at all times. And the reason I say that, for the simple fact, me losing my son. Me and my son, we talk all the time. And that particular day, I went to church. I knew I hadn't talked to him past that time. And it had been puzzling me all that day while I was at church. But in my mind, I wasn't thinking nothing bad, because 30 minutes before his girlfriend arrived, I had just prayed for all my kids at the altar. I wasn't 45 minutes from the altar when she entered the church door. So to any parent out there whose child is in the streets, running the streets, doing something they is not intention to do, but at the wrong place at the wrong time, please, please, please pay attention to what your child's surroundings, what he or she is doing. Always check your child's Facebook, telephone calls when they up late at night, back and forth toward the door or on the phone. If you hear them up late on the phone, please, please, please pay attention, because you never know. Your kids are here with you today, and tomorrow they're gone.
That's true.
So, a lot of things is going on. A lot of things are happening. Kids are not picking and choosing their friends like they should be. Basically, they doing stuff just to be with this person or to be in this clique, this gang. Just anything, just to be somebody's friend. So at all times, please, again, I remind you to pay close attention to your kids. This is a serious matter, losing a child or someone else losing a child, or either whether it was accidentally or whether they was into something. It's not good to lose your child, because you never know how the other person's family's feeling. The person who killed my son I could be friends with his mama and don't know. But I'm asking the public, if you know of anything, what had happened or expired during the time of William's death, please, please come forward. The person that killed my son could be looking at me every day, and I never know that person. But in my heart, me being the person that I am and know my Christianity, I know I could forgive that person. But I only want to know, why did you take his life? I'd rather for you had paralyzed him, anything where he was still with me, where I still could have been able to take care of him. Amen. But just taking his life like that and just leaving me and his sisters and them hopeless hasn't been good.
It hurts.
So his case is not solved.
His case isn't solved, no.
What ways do you deal, because I've lost a sister, brother, and I recently lost my father. but it hasn't been to violence, just that they just passed away. What helps you to cope with it? Because my sister's been gone for 8 years now, but it seems like it was just yesterday.
Well, a lot of times, don't get me wrong, I go to my secret places,
Oh yeah.
and at times I do shed my tears, but a lot of times when I shed them, I know it's tears of joy, because I know God has made him in a better place. With the society being like it is now, to me, I know he's safe in the arms of that man upstairs. So I feel more comfortable. I don't have to worry about nobody knocking on the door saying this done happened, that's done happened. Like I said, that was my only son, and he meant the world to me. Anybody that know me know they always seen him with me. So anytime he was playing sports, I traveled with him. I did everything with him. He was my life. So to lose him
Took a part of you.
It took a part of me. So, like I said, when it's your only son, it's hard. Three girls and just that one boy. As they say, the boys always confined to the mom and the girls is confined to their father. So it's been a rough road.
You got any grandbabies?
Yeah, I do. I have one grandson and 2 granddaughters. So it's been a rough situation. And like I said, we just had an anniversary, a 1-year anniversary on the 10th. And when we went, I got out at the cemetery. We let balloons go. We did everything. I took pictures and everything, but not one time did I go to their grave. I mean, and it's still hard on me, but I try to take, day after day, coping with it, because I know he's still with me in spirit.
Oh, yeah.
We still have our ups and downs and our talks, and so it's like I said, it's hard.
It's hard. It is. And that pain is, although you lose someone and someone else loses someone, your pain is different.
Yeah.
So it's a different type of pain. How about you, Darryl?
Well, I've just seen my son's grave, just the day that we put him in. I ain't been back. I mean, that's just being honest.
Because it's hard.
Like, I just had a birthday, October the 3rd. And see, like, on my birthday, we had a thing that we did every year. And for the, last 2 years, he ain't been there. So I just kind of been just in the house with my birthday and my own personal thoughts, because I don't really want to see nobody. And, like, he had 4 kids, that's the grandbabies, So, it's really difficult to me to be around anybody on my birthday, because I remember everything that we did. And we did it from when he was 2, 3, and old enough to understand every year, we'll go to a certain restaurant, we'll go out to a certain place, and just have a good time as father and son. This is every year for 28 years. And now you can't do that no more. And, one of the difficult things for me is, not just trying to, talk to grandkids and explain to that, but, I deal with people who still in struggle. And for like the last 2 years, my son been gone 20 months. Okay, but for the last 2 years, I've been going to a funeral procession of young people. I've been to 45 funerals.
Wow.
Okay, I just lost a nephew 22 days ago. That's how serious this is out here. And you can always know where your kid is, and you can always know what your child doing. That's one aspect, but then you got to think about what the next person's child doing that did that to your child. Exactly. See, for me, we got a case still pending because they think my child's life is worth 7 years. Basically, the person who did it, they want to give him a 7-year sentence. That means basically that he be out in about 2.5. Now, we don't want the plea bargain. We've been fighting the plea bargain since day one. That's why they ain't really went through with it, because when you plea bargain, you want the family to be in agreement with it. Okay? I'd rather go to trial. Go to trial, he get off. But it seems like when a young man that's had any kind of issues, all they want to talk about is the issues. They don't want to talk about when he done grown and moved past what he done did. You know, I mean, they had made my son a gang banger, never been in the gang. You know, they had made my son, you know, just running with the wrong crowd, never been with the wrong crowd. My son, you know, he's like most young men at my time and other times, you know, they sold drugs, they did whatever they did. Did his time, came out. Different man, raised his family, did what he was supposed to do. It was a mistake, he made a mistake. You know, really, it's almost a lot of times, you know, that cycle that what, you know, one person does, the other person does, you know. So like children tend to follow whatever they saw or they thought they saw, but everybody can grow past that. He grew past it. Now, when he grew past it, he had changed his life. He went to church, took care of his family. My son was the most lovable kid ever, you know what I mean? You know, life of the party. Always was, you know. But, you know, just somebody that's trying to take something, they give it to you. It apparently wasn't enough, so you know, you want a pistol whip and you shoot and take a life. And now the justice is they want you to accept 7 years for your son's life. Can't pay me enough. Can't be accepted. So we're going to be right here stuck in this little situation, you know, dealing with the system, you know.
And I think that sometimes makes it harder too, because you're grieving and then it's almost like it feels like you have no help from people that should be there to help you and support you. So sometimes that makes the situation worse. You know, it kind of piles on.
It's more difficult because, well, here's the thing, okay. I'm just gonna give you some blunt honesty. You know, when a black man kill a black man, okay, his life is worth 7 years. That's basically what it is, okay. Now you can get more time selling drugs. You get 8, 12 to 15, but for his life, that's all it's worth. 7 years. And I got issue with you trying to put 7 years on my child, you know? And I'm not angry, I'm not frustrated, I'm not even mad. I've been past that, you know? I mean, all I want is, if this the system that we got, make it work. If it ain't gonna work, just, then whatever happens, happens. You know what I'm saying? You know, we're gonna keep it all in prayer. But that's all we really can do, you know, because, you know, people talk about it all day. And what they really should be talking about is some of these people who struggle and get caught up in this life and end up taking someone's life, you know, what are you doing to really change the circumstances that we got to deal with this? You know, I shouldn't be thinking about losing my child. That shouldn't even be a thought on my mind, you know? But that's what I deal with every day. You know, wake up, I'm here. This kid here had the rest of his life. He ain't here no more. I wake up, I see his picture. He ain't here no more. I touch his kids, my grandbabies. He ain't here no more. They ask me questions that, you know, all I can say is your daddy in a better place. You know, he live in your heart, he live in your spirit. So, you know, spend time with him. And at times when, like, you know, his birthday come or their birthday come, you know, the kids all broke up. So what am I to do? You know.
So if you had to, I know you say you have a couple of organizations and you do a lot of speaking, but to the both of you all, if you had some encouraging words or some words that might be able to help change some of these misguided people's mind, what would you say to some of these young people out here that are just making the wrong choices?
Well, my thing to them is look to God. And the reason I say that is that's where the kids at that age that's doing the wrong things help will come from. I mean, I figured if you do more positive things, you'll forget about the negative things. I mean, stop sometime and just think before you just react. You know, it's a lot of things out here going on. Partners in the struggle, different little things, activities that young kids can do. Little seminars going on Saturdays, weekend. I mean, there's a lot of things kids that's really don't have the right mind frame that's out to harm somebody when they really not wanting to. They just want to be the person that their friend is.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. I can understand
You know,
that.
it's a whole lot of things young folks could be doing than the wrong thing.
And I think we as a community need to start paying more attention
That's
to
true.
everything and everyone, because we all a part. It affects us.
Yeah, that's
And
right.
so sometimes we just turn a blind eye because you think that's not your child, but we need to start looking after each other a little bit more, like they used to back in the day.
Yeah, because I mean, you thinking, okay, Susie live across the street. She sees everything. She knows it. Susie knows it for a reason.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, Susie could be that person that say, hey, let me pick up the phone. I seen what happened. Let me call in and give them some tips and make her find this person who harmed somebody else's child.
Yeah.
So never say my neighbor knows it. My daughter used to say that all the time. Oh, when we pull up, Mama, he's always outside. He's outside for a reason. I mean, in that particular night, at the place where my son was, Ramblin' Brook Road, don't even know where it's at. All I know is Ashland City Highway area. I wish my neighbor was at that. You know, I wish I lived in that area so he could have seen what happened. At the time William was shot, he wasn't dead on the scene. Somebody seen him rolling in the street. And the person who seen him, I used to go to the beauty shop where her sister worked. So she reached out to me. I mean, she didn't have to. I mean, she reached out and, you know, she told what she knew, and she came to me. She came to the front and she told he was alive when we found him rolling in the street. He was not deceased. But a lot of times I sit and think, I was just, like I said, just sitting around, and I kept seeing this particular number show up on my phone. And I said, every time I'm on break, this number shows up. So this particular day when I answered the phone with this number showing up, because it had been, like I said, repeatedly, I said, hello. They asked to speak to me. And I'm like, speaking. And they said we was trying to get information about William. I said, William is deceased. The lady on the other end didn't know. She was just trying to get insurance information. Like I said, you never know. I mean, if they could have contacted me that night, because in my mind, the reason why I say William is watching over me, he had sense enough to give his mom a number. So that's why I always say, when my grandbabies them say, Granny, where's Uncle? And I be like, he absent from the body, but he's present with the Lord. And the reason I say that, because William had enough strength, enough sense to say, well, hey, contact this lady. But my thing that bothers me in my heart and in my mind, why you didn't contact me that night? I mean, if he gave you all this information, why was I contacted that night? I mean, I'd rather have seen him on his deathbed than go to where I could see him just a picture. You know, back then we could go and we identify a body. When we go now, you just hold up a picture. And I never seen nothing like that. When somebody got killed, I'm always used to seeing a body. And the thing that really makes me smile is when the officer said, I don't know who he is. There wasn't no identification on him, but I do know he had eyes pretty as anybody I ever seen. He had cat hazel eyes, and it made me smile. You know, because I'm like, okay, he said, I haven't never seen nobody with no eyes like it, and I haven't either. William daddy had eyes like that. He was my love him before he became my friend and before he became my husband. So that brightened up my day a whole lot. Because like I said, I was down in the dump when I found out. But when the officer said that to me, he said, I never seen nobody with the eyes that William had. And I haven't either.
That's special.
That was,
That's
it was-
something to
it was
hold
special.
on to.
It was special to me. And when the Undertaker came and took him, that's the first thing I asked for. Could I please have my son? Because it was eyes that I never seen on a person.
Wow.
And like I said, that means a lot to me.
So if there's anything that either one of you all could leave or would like to leave with anyone who's going through the struggle, to those that's misguided, or to just if you want to have the floor to yourself, what would be your last words to you? Give someone an encouraging word, or give someone that's coping with some things, or those that are even distracted by things that's going on in the world. What would be your last words to them, or your story?
The last thing, I mean, it's just far as just some encouraging words of someone dealing with these kind of circumstances. You know, all you really can do is really put this in God's hand, because you don't have nobody to relate to, nobody to understand. And like, even though from time to time we'll meet, everybody's experience is different. You know,
Right.
all we know is that we lost a child, we lost a loved one too soon. You know, they shouldn't have had to pass. You know, and then just for, you was asked earlier about what can we do for people who are going through these circumstances. You know, it's a lot of things that like we can do to address the problems, but we don't want to address them problems. So since we don't address them problems, because people really, if they had something to do, some like opportunity, some hope, somebody to kind of mentor to talk to them and be there with them, we wouldn't have these issues. But when you look outside and all you see is despair and all you see is struggle, but the little cat on the block can provide you opportunity to put some money in your pocket. Of course, he don't tell you what go come with that. And what go come with that, whether it be the gangs or the foolishness that you got to deal with, will end up putting you down a path that might end up taking someone's life. You're going to lose your life, and your mother or father going to be up here crying about it. See, so we don't really deal with them circumstances. All the people normally deal with is they got a problem, they want to sweep the problem somewhere else instead of addressing the problems. They'll put $30 million in a sidewalk. Give me $1 million. I can solve some of this. I take 100,000 right now.
Thank you so much for coming and speaking with us tonight on the Gone But Not Forgotten segment.